So about 10 years ago, I reviewed the Adidas TechFit SpeedWraps, which are the ankle braces that Derrick Rose wears or used to wear very often throughout the entire NBA season that also pair with his kicks. And so you always usually knew that if you bought a pair of D Roses, they would usually fit with an ankle brace or at the very least a SpeedWrap. Well, I'm back again now as a part of the D-Rose Sneaker Challenge to review for you guys again these SpeedWraps and talk to you about sizing, fit concerns, and my thoughts overall on the product. And without further being ado, let's get into the video. So thank you guys for tuning in again for another video as a part of the D-Rose Sneaker Challenge for the month of October. I know I've been missing some days here and there due to some health stuff and other things of that nature, but at the end of it all, I'm still going to get you guys this content. And without also being said, I want you guys to also know that I've been putting the wrong information for my friend Michaela here on these videos mostly this month because I hadn't realized, I had forgotten that when she upgraded some stuff to her Instagram, she also changed her handle. So in case you guys didn't notice that earlier, I'm going to put it again right here. This is her handle, so if you guys like any of her animation or want to follow her or her account to see some of the short films she works on, whether that's live action, animation, see some of the projects she's doing, things of that nature, or are looking to have an animated opening of your own or have some sort of need for animation being done and you want some work done from her, hey, reach out to her down below. But going back into now the actual review, looking at these SpeedWraps. So the SpeedWraps used to be marketed and branded with all this, Derrick Rose on here, right? And you had the NBA stickers on here as well, too, because Adidas had a partnership with the NBA. And it used to be called the Adidas SpeedWraps, and these are the Adidas SpeedWrap ankle brace. But they have changed the way these are labeled now, and they now come in boxes like this. It just says basketball ankle brace. It no longer says anything about TechFit on there. It doesn't have the name SpeedWrap, but at the end of the day, it is the same product. So to kind of show you guys some of the stuff with that, if you look at the history of the product, this is what people are used to traditionally seeing. This is, the classic SpeedWrap look, TechFit, 3 stripes there. This is Adidas here on the back. This is, super lightweight ankle protection. You have that hard plate here to help, keep your foot, it gives some rigidity there. So you have basically, it's basically a shank plate, or not a shank plate, but it's basically like, imagine the sprint frames, but you have that going up the side of the shoe. It's plastic, essentially. They did also release versions of them that were in this, black colorway where it's all blacked out. This is one that I had as well. And then the most recent version of them is like this, which again, really the only difference is the branding representation on here. So you have, the performance logo there, performance logo here on the back as well too. And outside of that though, it's also the same in terms of the inner workings and how it all fits and sits on your foot itself. Now, I'm going to do the regular thing where let's just kind of read the stuff off the back of the box, right? Which the only thing on the back of this box that for the people who haven't bought this product in years should know about compared to what's on the original one is TechFit compression. That's the only thing missing. Honestly, I don't know if it's the fact that Adidas, I think, started experiencing some lawsuits when it came to the username TechFit, I think, or there was something of that nature that happened, or they, just went away from using them in terms of their branding for things. Material-wise, everything else is also the same on these as it was the original ones. But as it says on the back, it's 3 times the protection level of athletic tape, 30% reduction of risk in ankle sprains or injury. Biofeedback patented technology promotes quicker muscular response. External non-skid treatment to ensure a better connection with the shoe. 1/6 the cost of athletic tape over 1 year of use. Durable protection while athletic tape only lasts 20 minutes. Depends on how you look at it. Reusable when athletic tape is discarded after the game, allows more freedom while jumping and offers the ability to quickly change directions, can be easily adjusted by the athlete. A lot of that stuff is the case. So in terms of the construction itself, okay, you do have this Velcro strap here that you will end up, taking it across here to strap it on. Then you also have this piece here that you use as well to kind of tie it in. It kind of secures your foot in more, which pulls the other side in because it's sewn here on the side. Again, it does have this plastic plate here that's meant to provide you with that rigidity so that you have something else there to keep your ankle, trying to keep it rigid and not having it bend in awkward ways. Some people really do not like these. For some people, they need something much more thicker, and I'm not, durable would be the wrong word to use, but something that really just compresses your ankle really well and tightens up on both sides. It has some of that rigidity on both sides of it. This just provides it on your lateral side, which is Is that your lateral side? No, I'm blanking. It's been a long day. But on your left side of your foot, if you're your left foot, or your right side of your foot, if it's your right foot, this plate is there really to provide that. So if you do roll that way, you have something that's rolling onto, which is supposed to protect you. The thing is that, like, you know, sometimes certain injuries can't be prevented. So, like, for example, when I fractured my ankle wearing the Son of Shy, Son of Shy 1s, I did also have the SpeedWrap on because I wear these all the time when I play. And obviously I still fractured my ankle. So the thing is that, like, again, it, you know, is 30%. That's the metric they give you, but it's supposed to be a more protection for your ankle than if you wear one without it. But by the same token, that doesn't fully protect you from ankle injuries. So that's something that you should consider and think about when it comes to getting these, is find something that works best for you and fits best for you. I do like the construction of these. I mean, for me, my favorite thing is just how simple it is to put on. You know, you really can just slide it right onto your foot and then end up putting, you know, using that tab piece to wrap it over the top there, and then using the bottom, or using the Velcro piece to slide it through, and then you tie it up and you're good to go. And then even see, because I got a, you know, a rose sitting right here too, I can put this on and you guys can see that, yeah, like, I just slid this on right here, and it was really easy to put this on and the lace and tying it up. And so for me, that's the one part that I do like about it, that it's, you know, it's rigid while still also being somewhat flexible. You know, something to mention about the SpeedWraps is that, you know, these things retail for $30. And, you know, for $30, this is a great, you know, preventative ankle care, but not so much if you're, you know, actually already have an injury. You need something that's a little bit bulkier, a little bit sturdier than this. But this is great for preventative ankle care. So it provides you something that's kind of nicer than not having that. And I just think it's better overall protection than not having anything. I will say, though, again, it may not be what you need. Some people need something a lot more rigid. Some people need something much more bulkier than this, but it's hit or miss. So what's interesting, if you guys watched that YouTube short I did last week about the SpeedWraps, I talked about the fact that Derek has been seen wearing his again, at least during practice and during some of those preseason games. Now, since the season started up, I haven't seen him wearing them, but I don't know if that's due to, again, contracts with like Nike and what players can or can't wear, but it's just something I thought was interesting. And he's wearing, you know, a lower top shoe, so it kind of makes sense that he wants, you know, a little bit extra protection. And cool, well, the other thing I find interesting too is that his SpeedWraps, at least, because he has the classic looking ones, he either has like just a huge stack of them at his place, or his are holding up better than mine. Because when I go back and look at my older ones, you can see back here where I had, you know, the seams start coming apart here in the back, which isn't good. So this one's even in worse shape than that one. And so that's part of the reason, like, I would replace mine. I have, you know, where the plate itself is tearing through on there as well. So that's, you know, not ideal. But again, I've been fortunate enough to be able to, you know, get a handful of these over the years, and I held on to them. Because even, you know, this, it's funny because, you know, while this one's actually in the worst shape, that's completely busted through. That's not a good thing. Some of these things, you know, I have friends that are, you know, want to come in a hoop or something like that, but they are kind of worried about their ankles. I just throw them these old ones because if they're in the correct sizing for them, because it's better than nothing. And that comes into my next point, sizing. So Adidas does have a list of, you know, what the sizing, you know, requirements are on here for depending on what shoe size you are. So if you want to order a small, for example, a small fits a size 4 to a size 6. A medium fits a size 7 to a size 9 shoe. A large fits a size 10 to a size 12 shoe. An extra large, a 13 to a 15. And then a double XL for a 16 to an 18. And then it also has for women's sizing as well too. I don't think, based off the metrics I can look at on YouTube, I don't have any female viewers, it seems. But that's not true, because I know a couple people that watch it, so. But in case for y'all that watch this and come and find these videos to, you know, get information, if you're a woman and you're sizing, you're trying to figure out what to get, a 5 to a 7 is a small, an 8 to a 10 is a medium, 11 to a 13 is the large, and then a 14 to a 16 is the extra large. But as it comes to things with Adidas, people sometimes wonder, well, but what size should I get? And, you know, does what their sizing guidelines, is that true or is it inaccurate? Well, this is a Brannick device, right? This is what you measure your foot on. When I put my foot on here, my right foot, for example, measures at a size 10, okay? Once I measure at a size 10, that's what I know what my shoe size should be. So most of my shoes, again, I buy in a size 10 unless I want a snugger fit or unless I know that they run long and I go down half a size. So for example, on the Shies, size 10. I infamously said earlier in September that the Son of Shy 2s disappointed me due to their sizing, and because I thought size 10 was not the correct size, 10.5 would be better because they were so tight. But being a low top, size 10 was the correct size. I should have went with the size 10. And because the 10.5 was just too big and my foot just would have too much slippage and there wasn't enough lockdown because the shoe wasn't able to hug me in the proper spaces. So it's kind of the same way with the SpeedWraps, except in my experience, I've found that, I buy a large. Every one that I've gotten has been a large, and I've used that and liked that for the longest time, and it's never caused me too much of an issue. I will say that ever since I started using SpeedWraps, so back around 2010, I have only really badly sprained my ankle, I think twice, and then I've had the fracture. So I've had like 3 significant ankle injuries since then, and that's even back in high school when I used to hoop all the time, and even back like in college, I never really had too many like really bad issues. And so that's one of the reasons why I really do like the SpeedWraps a lot. However, I said I never bought something smaller than the large. Well, coincidentally, I actually did buy a medium one time before. I've never worn this one. And so I have, held on to it though. And what's interesting is I tried this on today, and the only thought I had is that this medium, it's extremely hard to get on my foot. And I'll kind of show you guys this as well too. When I put this on, you see it takes a lot more to pull it on. And then as I take this and adjust it, I'm able to do all the same things. This doesn't exactly wrap around the way I want it to. The strap part, it does. And then when I, put it together, you can see there's still like some of the Velcro doesn't fully reach. That's a much more rigid fit, and there's probably some merit to that as well. And I wonder, after break-in time, how that would fit and feel. But I've never had any experience with it. So, I would say at the end of the day, probably stick with what I'm saying, the size and guidelines that they say on there, unless you're really iffy on it. Because, like, for example, what I should say is when you measure your foot, for example, just to give you the full clarity of like where I'm at, if I measure my foot at a size 10, my foot probably sits about right there. So on that line of it, it's very close to the 10, but it's not fully at the 10, and it's not fully over the 10. So that's where like 9.5 does make sense, but sometimes 9.5 can be too tight. And so with that being the case, I'd say that, like, for me, putting this one on now, I maybe could do with the medium size, but it's just so kind of tight, and I don't know if that's gonna be good at the end of the day in terms of like what I'll feel in terms of circulation, because this is so tight right now that like it does feel secure, but it almost feels almost too secure compared to like if I used the large, I put that on and that's a secure fit, even though it's that little half size up or a full size up, you could say. So my advice is, again, go true to size based on what the sizing metrics say, but you guys can kind of make those decisions for yourself based on what you think is best. But overall, guys, the SpeedWraps, or as they just refer to them now, the ankle braces that Adidas has made, are very good. I like them, and I think that it's honestly one of my best purchases and most consistent purchases I've made across my time of hooping in Adidas basketball shoes, pretty much for the majority of my life now that I think about it, because I've been wearing these for at least the last 10 years, and that's like, well, it's not half my life, I guess, but you guys understand what I'm saying. So yeah, I hope you guys like this video and this review, and I hope you kind of like this little trip down memory lane. The SpeedWraps have always been, synonymous with the D-Rose line, and I think it's cool that Adidas still makes these SpeedWraps, and that they're still good for, the consumer, and I still like them, and they still do the job for me. Again, there are other ankle brace alternatives out there that you can get that also probably still fit with these shoes, if you like the D-Rose line. Or if you're looking for something else, like, look at what Curry wears. There's like the McDavid ones. There's a lot of other options you can look to find. And again, it just depends on what type of ankle injuries you've sustained and what your comfortability is and what you need / or want. And it's kind of funny because like with some of the issues I worry about with my ankle, maybe I would like, you know, to put on a much tighter one that even if it does cut off my circulation for a bit, when I go play like a rec league game, it's only going to be those 40 minutes unless we go into overtime or something like that, you know, or compared to going to play pickup or, you know, whatever the case may be. But at the end of the day, guys, thank you for watching. I appreciate your support. And until next time, peace. I'll see you around later. Bye.